Hey, Joe here. Welcome to the Noble Strength Way of Life and our series on noble leadership. I'm excited about this journey and I hope you are too. And today we will talk about communication. And although we will talk about communication for a few moments, I want to tell you that this theme will be integrated into every single lesson that we talk about because communication is absolutely paramount. It's arguably the most important thing that we can do as leaders. And again, I urge you to consider there are so many of us in leadership positions, whether we realize it or not. Now, I will tell you that there is no such thing as too much communication. There really isn't. I mean, I guess you could talk a little too much. I guess that's true. But when it comes to being in a position of leadership, your communication that is absolutely highlighted with consistency, honesty, and encouraging words. Consistency, honesty, and encouraging words is extremely important. To be consistent in your communications in all aspects of what you do, to never backtalk anything that you said is very important. To be honest, it's also obviously very important because if you're not, people will find out and that's a tough thing to recover from. And to be encouraging at all times. Even in the most difficult times, your responsibility, and it's a good one, is to be encouraging as much as you possibly can. Now, in my last 11 years of working, I was a chief operating officer for the Archdiocese of Newark. And when I took over the many departments that I was responsible for, I will tell you that I realized there weren't very many meetings in place. Now, I don't like to overdo meetings, but I immediately instituted every other week of having department head meetings. We had them, they were important, we had a structure to them, and the communication was then filtered down to all of the employees through the department meetings. I would make my way to those department meetings so I could meet and talk to all of the employees and they got to see me. And then finally, I developed a strategy where I would be in my office and sometimes I would walk out and tell my assistant, I'm going for a stroll. And she knew that going for a stroll meant that I was going to just go walk around to the departments and just talk to the people. And just see how they're doing and how their life is and how their job is going. Yeah, it took a little while for them to realize that I wasn't just checking up on them, because I wasn't. I was actually interested and wanted to communicate with them and hear from them and know more about them. I can say that in all my time there, and I certainly made my share of mistakes, that was one of my most important achievements, was to institute these levels of communication, especially because of how important it was in the atmosphere that we were living in. It was enjoyable as well, I will tell you, and it got to be a lot of fun. So your communication is of utmost importance, and I urge you to continue when you realize that you're making any type of communication with anyone as a leader. Again, remember, consistency, honesty, and encouraging is extremely important. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to turn to a species of animal that I'm actually quite fond of. Pigs. Yeah, pigs. Believe it or not, I'm extremely fond of them, and I find them to be fascinating animals. And what you may not know about pigs is that their communication levels are amazing. They are extremely smart. They're smarter than dogs. They're actually thought to be as smart as a 4 or 5-year-old child. But pigs have over 20 different oinks. Their communication is in oinks. Let's not try to do that now. Let's stay with our words, but let's still mirror the pig in a different way. So you see, the pig's oinks are exactly the categories that I just spoke of. They encourage one another constantly in their communication. They are honest in their communication, and they are consistent in their communication with each other. Therefore, pigs live in harmony with one another very well. Very well. More so than we understand them to. So as we go forward in our communication, I ask you to think of the pigs. I ask you to think of your own life and how you can improve your levels of communication with those around you. It's extremely important. You will find yourself growing in levels of peace and productivity that you never thought you would have. So with that, we're going to close this section of communication. And now we're at the point where I'm going to ask you to commit to the rest of the videos. There are 8 more to follow on all fun, extremely informative topics. And I hope you will continue the journey with me. Till then, I say thank you so much. Let's continue our Noble Strength way of life. Please check out my website, noblestrength.life. Please share these videos with others because ultimately we're looking to make this world a nicer place for animals and people. And communication will be key. Take care, everybody.